Las Vegas is packed with restaurants. New ones open every week. Most are safe, predictable, stamped out menus dressed up to look fresh. But every once in a while, there's a new kid in town that feels different. Not louder, not flashier, just better. For weeks, I kept hearing the same thing from people I trust, people who know food. You need to try this place. Well, that got my attention, so we went. And this isn't your average opening. Everything here is made from scratch. And I don't mean marketing scratch. I mean sauces built from the ground up, bread fermented properly, flavors layered with intent, food that makes you stop mid-bite and reassess your expectations. The paint's barely dry, the chairs still feel new, and already, serious Vegas diners are talking. Today, we're taking you to a grand opening at Chef's Kitchen. Welcome to Let's Eat Vegas, your guide to the good, the bad, and the delicious. I'm a chef and former restaurant owner, and I tell it like it is. Let's get started. Right off the bat, this dish told me I was in a serious kitchen. If you're a vegetable person, as I am, this plate alone will win you over. The vegetables aren't an afterthought. They're not limp, they're not tired, they're bright, slightly roasted, so they'll carry their natural sweetness and structure. Finished in butter with just a whisper of garlic, enough to support, never to smother. If your mom had made vegetables like this, she wouldn't have had to evoke images of the starving in Africa, or force you to sit there until you finished your peas. You'd have asked for seconds. Then comes the short rib. 8 hours of careful braising, slow heat, patience, respect for the animal. The meat doesn't just fall apart, it yields. There's a difference. It holds its integrity while melting at the same time. That's control. You won't find salt and pepper shakers on the table, and you won't miss them. Chef Elan seasons to the edge of perfection. The balance is already there. The demi-glace reduction coating the short rib is deeply concentrated, rich without being heavy, savory, but not aggressively so. It clings to the meat as though it belongs there. This isn't sauce for drama, it's sauce for depth. And underneath it all, Romanian mamaliga. If you've never had it, think of polenta elevated. Creamy, cheesy, silky, finished with an herb compound butter that melts slowly into the surface, adding fragrance and a layer of quiet luxury. This dish alone is all the reason one needs to return to Chef's Kitchen. This was the first item that caught my eye when I looked up Chef's Kitchen online. The bold, vibrant colors, promise of mango, practically jumps off the page. I knew I was going to be ordering it before I even saw the rest of the menu. And it tastes exactly as it looks. Sweet, tart, bright. Fresh frozen mango is layered with tahini, chamoy, and a hint of tamarind. It's finished with tamarindo candy straw that leans fully into the fun of it all. This isn't subtle, it's meant to wake up your palate. It's cold, fruity, a little spicy, a little sour, and completely refreshing. There's history baked into this one. Burekas traces back to the Sephardic Jews and carried their culinary traditions across the Ottoman Empire. Over centuries, the pastry evolved. Cheese fillings, potatoes, spinach, meat, always wrapped in flaky dough, always communal. At Chef's Kitchen, the tradition gets both respect and imagination. The burekas box arrives loaded and topped with toasted sesame seeds, hard-boiled eggs with yolks still slightly jammy, 3 cheese feta blended with herbs and spice, caramelized onion and potato. A lineup of house-made sauces that feel almost excessive in the best way. Jalapeno salsa, mango chutney puree, fresh tomato salsa, tahini with pickles. Everything built from scratch. Then there's the pastry, flaky, delicate, so light it practically lifts off the plate. It shatters and flakes in your hands, scattering across the plate and onto your shirt. This is not a tidy dish. It's interactive. It demands participation. It starts as a beautiful mess, and somehow, through the chaos, it becomes balanced. This might be one of the most unique dishes I've had in Las Vegas. It feels ancient and modern at the same time. Do make sure to wear a dark shirt. My dogs are going to love me when I get home. And you'll thank me when you come here to try it. These are the kind of pancakes that make you pause mid-bite. A wave of sadness hits you as you consider the excuse for pancakes other restaurants have served you. These arrive light and proud, almost delicate. Just a clean, airy crumb that carries a soft floral aroma. I catch orange zest, real vanilla, and something else lingering in the background keeps me guessing. The blueberries aren't scattered in an attempt to convey abundance. They're folded throughout, hidden inside, bursting warm and bright with each forkful. Every bite releases a fresh pop of fruit that cuts through the richness. They're finished with a house-made blueberry reduction that pools into the surface and crowned with fresh whipped cream that's sweet but restrained. You'd be hard-pressed to find their equal in Las Vegas. If you like food reviews that explain why something does or does not work and isn't just hype, well, consider subscribing. Did you know, according to YouTube, 60% of you viewing right now are not subscribed? It means a lot to us and helps us grow. I've had plenty of pressed sandwiches over the years. Some good, a few great. But this one steps into a different class. It starts with the bread, baked in-house from scratch. That alone sets the tone. You can taste when bread is made with care. When it's pressed, Parmigiano Reggiano fuses into the crust, forming that deep golden layer that reminds you of the edge of perfect garlic bread. Crisp, nutty, almost lacy where the cheese met the heat. They don't cut corners with fat here. Only the best ingredients are used, extra virgin olive oil and real butter. That combination gives the crust richness without heaviness. It shatters lightly when you bite in. Within, prosciutto brings silk and salt. Spicy pepperoni adds depth and just enough heat. A swipe of chipotle aioli carries the smoke and creaminess, while pepperoncinis cut through with sharp, briny bites. Every element has purpose. Nothing feels random. It's balanced, it's layered, it's built by someone who understands restraint. The rose milk cloud might be the strangest custard I've ever eaten, and I mean that as high praise. It arrives topped with freshly crushed pistachios and a generous dollop of real whipped cream. The custard itself is delicate and composed. Think panna cotta, but with less jiggle. Firmer than pudding, yet lighter than either. It holds its shape, but once your spoon breaks through, it yields softly. It's rich without being heavy, sweet without being overly so. And then there's the rose syrup. It comes in a small squeezed tube, floral, fragrant, almost perfumed, but never overpowering. The syrup is liquid gold, balanced, aromatic, and elegant. Next time, I'm asking for a second tube. It's a wonderful dessert and an excellent close to day one. Shashuka has roots in North Africa and the Middle East. Traditionally, it's eggs poached in a spiced tomato and pepper sauce. Rustic food built on bold flavor. When I saw this on the menu, I almost didn't order it. I deferred to my, at times, conservative nature and told myself, this just isn't my type of thing. Well, our server insisted, and I'm glad he did. Chef Alain takes pride in everything he makes, and it shows here. It starts with sourdough, made from scratch, of course, 3 full days from starter to finished product. It's fed, folded, rested, and developed the right way. No shortcuts. The loaf is hollowed out and filled with poached eggs, house-made chorizo, feta, roasted tomatoes, and peppers. The chorizo isn't greasy or swimming in oil, no pools of fat. It's rich, savory, slightly spicy, real pork flavor with depth. Many a Mexican restaurant in this city would die to serve chorizo of this caliber. The eggs break and blend with the feta and chorizo into one bold, savory mixture. It's messy in the best possible way. Hearty, comforting, deeply satisfying. You can dig straight into the center and be happy, but don't skip the bread bowl. The crust has a real crackle. That last bite, when the bread has soaked up all that flavor, might be the best one. This dish totally surprised me. Do not miss it. This next dish stopped me in my tracks. A beautifully roasted stuffed chicken, finished with an indescribably delicious reduction and a melting herbed compound butter. It arrives fragrant and confident. Before it even touches the table, you catch warm spice, roasted poultry, and that deep savory perfume from the sauce. You're already leaning in. The skin is crisp with intention. Not pale, not rubbery, just properly rendered. It gives you that delicate crackle before you reach the meat, which is moist and tender, the way roasted chicken is supposed to be when it's treated with respect. Inside, the saffron rice is stunning. Lightly floral, layered with fresh herbs, seasoned boldly, but with control. Then comes the sauce, a true reduction. Glossy, concentrated, built on demi-glace base and infused with slow-roasted tomatoes. The tomatoes are peeled first, a small detail most kitchens skip, then roasted gently until their natural sweetness develops. I saw the chef carrying them through the dining room, and he stopped to show us. I was inspired to see a chef who was proud of his peeled tomatoes. That kind of pride tells you everything. This is stuffed chicken elevated beyond the ordinary. Not flashy, not gimmicky, just disciplined cooking with serious flavor. And it delivers. This 12-ounce pork chop is a thing of beauty. Thick, bone-in, properly seared, it hits the table looking like it belongs on a magazine cover. But more importantly, it delivers where it counts: flavor. The exterior has that golden caramelized crust you only get from high heat and patience. Inside, it's juicy, deeply savory. Real pork flavor, clean, bold, and honest. Underneath, there's a demi-glace infused with Dijon mustard. Not sharp, not overpowering, just enough acidity to cut through the richness. Hidden beneath the chop is a melting herb compound butter that slowly works its way into the meat, adding another layer of depth as it rests. And then there are the potatoes. These are Sunday at Grandma's house potatoes, roasted until the outside turns golden and crisp, the inside tender and buttery, almost creamy in texture. Properly seasoned, no shortcuts, no gimmicks. This might be my favorite dish of the day, though that feels somehow unfair because everything has been so strong. What surprised me most about this sandwich is how light it feels. Not small, not skimpy, but light. I think it's the chopped Mediterranean vegetables, cucumber, onion, tomato, playing their quiet but critical role. They lift the whole dish, they keep it moving. And the filet mignon is tender enough to yield without effort, melts like butter, yet delivers deep, savory intensity. Real beef flavor, clean, focused, no distractions. Then there's the roasted tomato relish. It leans towards the depth of sun-dried tomatoes, concentrated and slightly sweet, spread generously across the bread. It anchors the richness and ties everything together. What you end up with is balance. Brightness from the vegetables, depth from the beef, sweet acidity from the tomato. It feels satisfying without being heavy. Rich, but not overwhelming. It's the kind of sandwich that makes you think you could eat 4 or 5 and walk out feeling just fine. Lamb shank lovers rejoice. You've found your new home away from home. You already know I have a soft spot for properly cooked shank. It's one of those cuts that rewards patience. Done right, it's primal, comforting, and deeply satisfying. And I believe I've just found one of the best in Las Vegas. This is called Yeshua lamb, served with couscous, garbanzo beans, natural au jus, and those same sensational roasted vegetables. They keep showing up strong on this menu. The lamb is first seared, then slow roasted until it develops a deep caramelized exterior. Not burnt, not charred, caramelized. Big difference. The outside builds that dark, rich crust while the interior becomes tender enough to yield at the touch of a fork. The flavor is layered and profound. You get roasted depth, natural sweetness from the meat, and a richness that lingers without feeling heavy. It's the kind of dish that makes the table go quiet for a minute. Then there's the couscous. To be honest, couscous has never really excited me. Too often it's bland, dry, and many times an afterthought filler on the plate. But not here. This version is boldly seasoned and cooked properly, each grain distinct, tender but structured. It absorbs the natural au jus from the lamb without collapsing into mush. It stands up to the meat instead of hiding behind it. That's how it should be done. The garbanzo beans add earthiness, the roasted vegetables bring brightness and contrast, and together, the whole plate feels intentional. And yes, I'm saying it again, this is one of the best lamb shanks in Las Vegas. I'm not sure there's a proper way to describe this dessert, other than to tell you plainly, order it. Yes, it fulfills the Dubai chocolate style, pistachios, pistachio cream, and a deep Nutella-like dark chocolate that's rich without being cloying. But that's only the start. It's layered with ice cream, cold and velvety, pressed against hot shredded phyllo dough that's fried until golden and crisp, like the delicate strands you find in classic Dubai chocolate bars. That contrast alone, hot and cold, crisp and creamy, makes you stop for a second. And then there's the pastry, buttery, shatteringly flaky, even more fragile than a croissant. It holds everything together just long enough before giving way, collapsing into crisp shards as you cut through it. Every bite is layered, toasted pistachio, dark chocolate depth, sweet cream, warm butter, delicate crunch. Without exaggeration, this is one of the best desserts I've had in a very long time. Later this day at the grocery store, I kept finding myself lingering by the Nutella aisle. Couldn't figure out why, when it suddenly hit me. Funny thing about Nutella, I don't think I've ever finished an entire container. Have you? Anyway, if you love chocolate, this dessert is not optional. After 2 full days here, one thing became very clear. This is a serious kitchen run by a very talented chef. Everything here is truly made from scratch. Bread fermented for days, tomatoes peeled before roasting, sauces built carefully and reduced the way they're supposed to be. It's the kind of cooking you can taste in the first bite. Now, some of these dishes may look unfamiliar. It's not the usual Vegas menu. But don't fret. Across 2 days of eating, there wasn't a single weak dish. From the lamb shank, to the pork chops, to the shakshuka bread bowl, the panino, the pancakes, and that remarkable Dubai dessert. The deliciousness was unmistakable and impressive. And that's rare for a brand new restaurant. Chef Alon isn't chasing trends here. He's cooking the way experienced chefs used to cook, with time, discipline, and real ingredients. If you're tired of cookie cutter menus and food that comes out of a freezer bag, this place is going to feel like a breath of fresh air. Chef's Kitchen is the real deal. Well, we'll be back very soon. Who knows, maybe you'll see us there. And don't forget to tell them, Let's Eat Vegas sent you. Planning a great meal in Las Vegas? Our first pick compares some of the best buffets in the city. And if prime rib is more your style, this next video shows you one of the best bargain prime rib dinners in town. If you enjoyed this video, liking, subscribing, or commenting helps us bring you more reviews. Until we eat again, bon appetit.